just got back from Mexico, and I spent a lot of time before the trip researching, scouring YouTube for women who had taken trips to Mexico or, singles that have gone to Mexico. I found a lot of guys, going to Mexico, even single guys or people that had timeshares and couples, but I didn't find a lot of women trip to Mexico and their experiences. Prior to this trip, I got a lot of flack from family and friends. Oh my gosh, you're going to Mexico. No, don't do it. No, it's so dangerous. We're going. We're adults. We're adult women. We can do this. We're responsible. We're aware. So I was inspired to make this video about my trip to Mexico with a girlfriend of mine, a 5-night, 6-day to Playa del Carmen. We left Texas Thursday through Spirit. They do ding you for everything, including you check in a bag. We also booked an all-inclusive resort in Playa del Carmen. We work our butts off. We want to go relax. We weren't looking for kids sword fighting in front of the pool or splashing us. So we booked this all-inclusive, adults-only resort. And we also booked our transportation to and from the airport. That was everything that was pre-booked, and I will say it was pre-booked through Expedia. Our flight was pretty uneventful, 3-hour flight. We landed in Cancun at the Cancun airport. Getting off of the flight, again, uneventful, going through immigration or customs pretty quick. Until we got to the baggage claim, I'm going to say a good 40 minutes. We waited until the first piece of luggage even started turning on that carousel. And it was packed, right? I don't know how many flights were waiting for their luggage on this one carousel, but that was, kind of the first, I wouldn't even call it a hiccup. We were so happy to be there. We knew this is just what we have to do. We finally get our luggage, and so you exit the airport, and that's when you get this flood of people senora, senora, or señorita, señorita. What company do you need? You need a taxi. I had definitely had that bug in my ear that it's a dangerous country for two women traveling alone. You're getting all these people coming at you. I really think a lot of them are there to help you find where you're supposed to go. So at some point we said, we already have a reservation, and the woman said, yes, tell me, and I'll help you. And so we told her who our reservation was through, and she gave us a number. She said 52, I want to say. And you look up and there are all these stations. So we had to go to 52, which was a little bit of a trek. So I think most of them are being helpful. Of course, some are there to, get you. If you need transportation, they want you to go with them. But we had pre-booked our transportation through Expedia, and my friend, about a week before we left, actually upgraded our transportation to a private vehicle. And they told us it was supposed to be no wait. I'll consider sharing the name of the transportation company. It depends if this video gets any interest, or if people want to know. If you want to know, you can ask me. But again, we ended up waiting outside for our transportation for about half an hour. It seemed like when we finally got to our little station outside and we told one of the guys there, our name and reservation, it almost seemed like he had to call on the fly and say, hey, these chicks are here, come pick them up. Then we did have a van that pulled up. The guy came out and put both of our bags and, we got our backpacks and everything in, and we started the trek to our resort. The resort was probably 30 miles from the airport, but it took a good hour and 15 minutes. And I'm going to say this because I want you to remember this for later in the story. Our driver actually said it can sometimes take 3 hours to get back to the airport, when you're leaving. And both my friend and I were like, oh, come on, Freddie. Oh, please, no. We really thought he was kidding, but save that nugget for later. I'll bring it back up. After about an hour, 15, hour and 20 minutes in the van, we arrived. It looks very beautiful. You know, there's a long driveway and there's security and, you know, it's in the jungle. And oh my gosh, we are so excited. We're also famished and, you know, kind of sweaty. We came from Texas at the end of February and it's freezing here. The day we left, it was 14 degrees. So we're in tights and sweaters and these giant jackets. You know, we had to really bundle up to get on that plane to leave for Mexico. So we're ready to get undressed, get a shower, you know, go to dinner. We, you know, tip the driver and we're prepared for check-in. We made it. We're waiting to get into our room.
You must have used that.
Yeah. The lady took our luggage up there and we're just waiting in this little tunnel. Love you guys. Bye. There's Dini.
The lobby.
She's hot. Look, we're all dressed for the winter. It was 14 degrees when we left. That sounded like a rooster. Check-in at these places. It's supposed to be an experience. So you walk up, they give you, you know, a cool towel that's scented with lemon or lavender. They bring you a little fruit drink at the desk and they start checking you in. So you provide everything. You fill out like several little pages, you sign. They want your passports. They want to take a photocopy of your passports. They actually ended up taking both of our credit cards and running mine for incidentals. So they did a $200 charge for incidentals. And of course, upon checkout, that is supposed to be taken off. We also had to pay some taxes and like resort fees up front. So we did all that. We had no inclination that there would be any reason not to do a proper check-in. So after about 30 minutes of checking in, like I said, we were just tired and famished. We were so hungry. We wanted to get in. We wanted to decompress, take some showers and get to dinner. And, you know, we stand up from the desk and we're getting our backpacks and stuff. And the woman's going to go ahead and call down a bellhop to take our bags and show us where our room is and take us there in the golf cart. And right as this is happening, like we're standing up, we're getting packed up, and she as well stands up and she says, I almost forgot. There's just one small problem that I need to make you aware of. And at this point, I just felt like, here it comes. Here comes the issue. So I looked at my friend and I went, and I sat back down and I was like, what is it? And my girlfriend as well was like, here we go, right? The woman proceeds to say, we've been having a bit of an energy problem here on the resort and there's no air conditioning in the rooms. We're like, no air conditioning in any of the rooms? Can you move us to another room? No air conditioning in any of the rooms. Well, I happen to remember reading reviews of this place and seeing a couple reviews where people had complained that the air conditioning was not strong enough, it wasn't cool enough, that the rooms were a little warm. Now, there was just a couple, right? And this place had really, really good multiple reviews, but the more recent ones, I had seen this air conditioning problem. I had brought it up to my friend. We poo-pooed it like it's going to be okay. So I think we both thought, oh crap, this is real. I said, well, you know, you really should have told us that to start with. And then I didn't even know this. My friend said, if you look at our reservation, I actually put in our notes, probably through Expedia, air conditioning, extra cool, you know, in case you show up and you don't even have the controls or you can't really put it up or down. She actually specified that we required extra cool air conditioning. Again, we're two single girls of a certain age, and that's what we were looking for when we are paying good money to have a relaxing and comfortable stay. So we kind of went back and forth with each other at the front desk, and we finally said, take us to our rooms. We're not going to unpack. We need to settle and discuss what we're going to do about this. We have to find another place to stay. I was really, really grateful to my friend because I started bargaining with my conscience right away. Maybe it won't be so bad. Maybe we can keep the windows open. But as soon as we got to the room, beautiful room, spacious, exactly what we were looking for in the way of the caliber of the suite that we were in. However, it was hot as blue blazes in there. And so we opened the big, sliding glass door and we sit out there for a minute, and I'm getting bitten by bugs immediately. Now, I did bring bug spray. I kind of thought that's what it was going to be anywhere. It was a bit of a challenge to get somebody from Expedia actually on the phone. They want you to go through the app. But we just knew this is such a special circumstance. There's not going to be an option for us to find something so quickly. It was already about 6:30 at this time, I want to say. We've got to find a place to move our reservation, and we have a 5-night stay at an all-inclusive resort. So I went to Reddit and I did a search, and I found a number for customer service for Expedia. So we did get somebody on the phone. We told him what was happening. While my friend was doing that, I was looking at properties on the app, trying to find something comparable. Playa del Carmen resorts near me, and I saw this Fairmont Mayakoba. Never heard about it. I just knew Fairmont was kind of like a brand name. Maybe they'll have a suite. Maybe they'll even have a room. Maybe we have to change locations a couple times while we're here, depending on availability. So by the time we finally got a representative on the phone and told him the issue, we were able to say, look, we looked up some places. There's this one and this one that are nearby. And that is what really helped us. I will tell you about the call with Expedia and us explaining what was happening and what we needed. They did have to contact the hotel once from the representative that we had on the phone, and then his supervisor. Now, both times, our claim was confirmed by the resort. Yes, that is what's happening. And because we had suggested this other property, they did have one availability for those nights. That's what we were told, and that's what we got. So we were actually quite nervous. We were telling him, well, look, is it comparable to what we reserved here? Because we had this extra large, 700 something square foot suite. We wanted to make sure we had our 2 queen beds, and a bathtub and everything. And so he said, it is a smaller casita, but it's at a nicer property. And we really kind of went back and forth we don't want to sacrifice, but we've got to have the AC. We just have to do it. At least we won't be dying at night, losing sleep because we're just sticky or bugs. So we went ahead and called back down to the front desk and said, hey, come on and get us and get our luggage and take us back for checkout. I, of course, verified that they voided the charge for incidentals. We basically had to check out, shortly after we checked in. And then we went ahead and got a taxi, which is something we were, told not to do from our friends and our loved ones. Just stay on the resort, use their transportation, don't venture out. But, we were stuck. This is something we had to do. The other resort was, less than 2 miles away. We rolled the dice. We were fine. So we got into the taxi. We go to the other resort. Again, we're driven through this long drive up through the jungle. So we pull up to where they're going to let us out to check in. And that's when we kind of see oh, wow, this is very nice. Incidentally, the first thing we see when we get out are 2 kids sword fighting with umbrellas. I don't care. It looks really fantastic. And we're only seeing a small portion, albeit grand, of this resort where you go and you check in. And I really want to praise Expedia because prior to this trip, I had never done anything with Expedia or TripAdvisor or anything. But I tell you what, I asked the guy that changed our reservations on the fly, what is the difference here? Are we getting something better? Are we comparable? Are we almost having to downgrade? And he said the difference is over $3,000. And sure enough, we did our due diligence throughout the trip, figuring out like, had we booked this either ourselves without the Expedia app or through the Expedia app, what would the difference have been? And it was about $3,900. Expedia picked that up for us. We didn't have to pay a dime, and we got this major upgrade. I'm telling you, there were times where I was like, we don't even belong here, like the swankiest of swanky, and very safe. So we repeat the process. They bring us the towels. They bring us a little fruit cocktail drink. We sign, we give our passports, we give our credit cards. Again, we're like, just take the shirt off my back, like just get us somewhere where we can decompress. We have a casita with 2 double beds. It was like just getting verified that it was ready or turned over. And we were so hungry. We said, can we just go over there and eat? Because there was a restaurant that connected to the lobby. And she said, yes, of course. So we went into this restaurant. I think it was called the Hicks Lounge. They immediately gave us like some little appetizers. We were so cozy and so comfortable. Things were looking up. Our room, it was a little smaller. We had our 2 queen beds. The air conditioning was cold, and we had a big tub and a rain shower. The amenities, we had 8 restaurants on the property, whereas I think there were only 2 at the other one. The beach was closer, and we always had golf cart transportation wherever you went. There was staff members there to pick you up or assist you. Now, I will say, I had never done an all-inclusive package like this before. So I was a little green to everything. Like even the first night when we just grabbed some food from the bar lounge, everything has prices on them, the menus and the drinks, and they bring you a bill. And of course I deduced that is for you to know what to tip your servers. I'm still not sure the customs as far as tipping in Mexico. I kept it between 15 and 20%. The tricky thing with the all-inclusives is like, sometimes you don't need a giant breakfast, but even if you want like an egg and a mimosa, everything is quite pricey. In fact, our last night, and just for the 2 of us, our bill was like $359 US. With the all-inclusive package, you're not paying for that, but you are tipping out those that are serving you. The day after we arrived at the resort that we ended up staying at, it did rain. I needed Red Bull. I'm not a coffee drinker, and there's no Red Bull on the property. So I knew we had seen convenience stores here and there, but again, we were kind of nervous to just go out on our own. Through the concierge, we booked a taxi. At first, I just thought, just a 7-Eleven or something. But once we got in the car with the language barrier, he said something that sounded like Walmart. And my friend said, Walmart? Yeah, that's fine. And I was like, I don't think he said Walmart. I think he said something in Spanish. But I was like, yeah, a Walmart's fine too. That's probably we would consider that safer. We know we can go Walmart. We can get whatever we want. Walmart was very close. My friend had an experience in Mexico before where the taxi would go wherever you want. They would wait even for a very, very long time, and it was very affordable. She had told me that so many times. So he took us to Walmart. We allowed him to wait. We probably spent about 30 minutes in Walmart, and then she actually got some sort of pastry at this little place outside of the Walmart. So it was under an hour, but let's call it an hour. So by the time we got back to the hotel, the ride was about $80. And she had been telling me, it's just like $25 and they'll wait with you. Well, that was definitely not the case. And we did ask the concierge, on a later date. And I believe he said they will wait with you. but it's so much an hour. Might have been 20 or 25 an hour. Just be prepared to know that if you want them to wait on site, there is an hourly charge, and it's probably a minimum. If he's going to wait, he's going to charge you an hour right off the bat. So you got to add an extra $20-25 to your trip fee. But yeah, we had a great time. It was raining. It was completely worth it. So no harm, no foul, but that is just something to consider. The driver that we had that charged us that, we did kind of feel like he should have told us. He was like, oh, I wait no matter how long. And then he wanted us to book him for everything if we ever left again during our trip. He wanted me to take his number. So, just thinking back again, we did not feel unsafe. It's not that we felt swindled by any means, but just maybe a little piece for you to take away. Try to get those fees up front. That's something that we did not do that time, but we did thereafter. Expedia also gave us $250 to use within the app, and we ended up booking an excursion. So this was another no-no that we kind of got from the people around us before we left. Just stay on the resort. You don't need to go anywhere. Don't venture out. Don't get all courageous. But we really wanted to make the most of our time, and we felt so safe at the resort and with the people that, were helping us and telling us, where to go and what happens on these type of excursions. So it wasn't a long drive. The excursion van came and picked us up at the property and brought us. It was horseback riding, driving ATVs through the jungle. It was a cenote. So they bring you to a cenote, like one of those natural pools, cavern pools, and we dove off these cliffs. There was a tequila tasting. So it was a really, really fantastic half-a-day excursion, and we used our Expedia bucks that the representative had offered us. And then the day before we left, we actually got a little braver and we ventured out to Fifth Avenue. We got another taxi to Fifth Avenue, which is kind of like the downtown area during the day, the early day. And we did some shopping. We got some silver. We ate at a little Cuban restaurant for that little 2 hours. We checked the price ahead of time. We made sure that they would go and drop us off, and then they would meet us at that same spot, and we gave them a time. It was only 2 hours. So again, we felt really safe. Yes, that's where you're gonna have all the shops and all the little kiosks, and you're gonna get your senora, over here, oh, tequila tasting, oh, we have the best silver, oh, bikini. That's where you're gonna get that. And maybe that's where we just kind of were like, look straight. We went into this first shop right away, and we saw these silver rings that we really liked. And he haggled us right down to the exact price that we were comfortable with. But we still told him, look, we'll be back. This is our first store. We're going to make the loop and we'll come back. And we did, but I thought it was really smart that after so many people kind of, they're not touching us or anything. They're just like, over here. And we would say no. And then, oh, come on. And she said one time, hey, we like what we like, And then the guy was like, oh, I understand. So I kept saying that. No, I like what I like. Nope, not for me. So that seemed to be comfortable. For me, when we kind of felt like, whoo, there's so much, it's like sensory overload. But it was also just a great experience. Hey guys, so I'm editing this video and I realized that I told you at the beginning I would make a callback to a comment that our driver made when he was taking us from the airport to the resort about the length and the time it could take when you're returning to the airport after your vacation. So let me address that right now. If you recall, I said that while in our car to get to the resort, the driver told us that coming back, it can take up to 3 hours. And we were like, yeah, right, dude. We thought he was just messing around with us. That was not the case. Sure enough, and I don't know why, but it took us 2.5 hours over double the amount of time that it took us when we arrived. I don't know if it was a day of the week thing, but I tell you what, it was bumper to bumper the entire way. A 38-mile distance took us 2.5 hours. You know, the roads out there, there's not many lanes, there's constant construction, there's not any red lights really. So it's just wild, wild west, I guess. So I wanted to make sure that I inserted this follow-up and made good on my promise to let you know about that trip back to the airport. So something to consider. Thankfully, we were told ahead of time that, you know, anything could go wrong. So we were just ultra prepared throughout the entire trip. But we thought we would have more time. You know, we kind of rushed to eat at a restaurant at the Cancun airport, and then it was time to get on the flight. So that is definitely something to remember. I would be happy to answer any questions. It was a fantastic trip. 2 females, all we hear all the time is, oh, don't travel like this. Don't do it alone. Oh, you're not safe. We felt really, really safe. Now, again, part of that could have been our resort change and how well taken care of we felt that we were. You know, even on the beach, there were enough people, lots of Americans around. This was in Playa del Carmen. Maybe that has a lot to do with it. But I wanted to make this because I found nothing like this when I was researching before we went. I would love to answer any questions that you have. Feel free to reach out in the comment section. I will engage. I've never done a video like this, like a trip review video. And I don't know. I'm going to think if I've left anything out. Hopefully edit this video and get it up for you. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.